succeeding in doing when they can get people on the programme into work is getting them into short-term temporary work. So they may be cycling round and round the programme, and that certainly couldn't be good value for money.
This is something we were looking at, whether it's short-term work or actually part-time work, I think is the other issue. And I have to say, Mr. Speaker, locally, when I try to meet prime providers, they wouldn't tell me how many people they'd had referred to them, they wouldn't tell me how many people they'd got into work, and they wouldn't tell me how long those people had been in work. And for a government committed to transparency, any decent assessment of the work programme is highly inhibited by this lack of transparency on this programme. Let me finally talk about Barking Dagenham as an excellent example of where opportunities exist for the government to stimulate jobs and growth. We may have lost many of the jobs in Fords over time, but we've got a massive expansion potential with Barking Riverside, Dagenham Dock and Barking Town Centre. But the lack of public sector investment in infrastructure and services is the major barrier to achieving growth and jobs. If I look at Barking Riverside, the potential there's planning permission from the local council for 11,000 new homes, but at the rate at which we're going at the moment, the current rates of building, it'll take 50 to 60 years before that scheme is complete. And were those homes built, it would stimulate jobs and help to tackle housing need. But what can we not get? We can't get the school we need to enable families who move into the area to be assured that they will have a school place. We can't get the transport infrastructure you need with a DLR extension because there's no money there. And we can't get the mayor to do anything to stimulate private sector house building. What we need is action, not words. And not a penny of the Regional Growth Fund monies has come to an area like that where we indeed do need a huge amount of resources. So, Mr. Speaker, conscious that many people want to speak, I'll just say this in conclusion. We've had 2 years of this government, and the previous the honourable member talked half his speech about the last government. We're now 2 years into this government, and things have only got worse. We've had 2 years on their watch, and living standards for hard-working families in Barking Dagenham have declined. We've had 2 years since they came into office, and people's hopes for a better future, with jobs for their children, homes for their families, and economic growth for both their children and their grandchildren, those have all been smashed. The Queen's speech has nothing to say for the people of Barking Dagenham. It does nothing for a community where needs are great. It fails the hard-working families who are my constituents. It fails the businesses in my borough, and it fails to meet the aspirations and needs of future generations for whom Barking and Dagenham will be their home.